Patryk, Swietek.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
We are out here in beautiful Joshua Tree. The scenery here is unlike anything I've ever seen. Really, really special place. So I'm honored that you invited us out here and you're hosting us.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Happy to have you, and I'm glad you're enjoying the vibe. I think I don't even get used to this at all. It's always awe and jaw breaking. It's a good time here for sure.
All right, so just to be transparent with the people, we were filming before my brother and the rest of the crew got here to dial in the camera settings, and apparently it looks way better now, so we had to start over, and we already had some conversation, but we're starting from the beginning here. I already know some of your story, but give the people a rundown on where you started and whatever pieces of your story you want to tell.
Yeah, so just a little about me. I'm Patryk Swietek. I'm one of the owners of the co-host company. We manage around 130 units here in Joshua Tree, California. And, we started around 2.5 years ago, really getting into short-term rental property management. And we have homes like this that are very experiential, where people come from all over the world to experience the desert, the high desert. It's absolutely wonderful here. There's beautiful sunsets, beautiful views, the calm serenity of nature. There's just a lot to really take in and calm down, especially in a world where we're so much on our phones, and there's just all this attention and stimuli all the time. And I think this is like a really good place to just reconnect with nature.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people love coming out to Joshua Tree, especially LA, San Francisco, and New York.
And New York. A lot of New Yorkers come here, and it's a completely different vibe here. My wife and I were like, we don't want to move here because of family. Everyone's in New York, but we will definitely have a property here, I think, in the future, whether it's a vacation rental or something that you guys are managing for us.
I was going to say, I think I know a guy.
Yeah. But yeah, every time I come to California, no matter where it is, the vibes are just unreal. I was just out in Ojai, California.
Nice, very
for
nice.
A retreat with Josh Mason and the Detox Dudes. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before.
I think I have. I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, he's probably one of the most. He's at like the top of the health world right now, and the things he's teaching is life-changing stuff for me and a lot of other people. But anyways, that retreat was insane. We were off the grid for 6 days, no phones, and when you disconnect from your phone for that long, your nervous system goes down a level, and you realize, fuck, the stimuli, everything is just controlling you. And then when you finally just let it all go, it feels so good. So it was a week of meditating and doing breath work and working on our inner selves and hiking and cold plunging and 12 other men that it was just camaraderie and brotherhood. So it was the most life-changing event that I've ever been to. So highly recommend any entrepreneur look into it. It's an investment that pays for itself over and over. But I don't know where I was going with that. Ojai is just as beautiful as here.
In its own way, yeah.
In its own way. I want to dive deeper into your story, especially for the people listening. I'm huge on trying to provide as much value to the audience based on who the guest is and what they can learn from your story. So take us back to, you were telling me entrepreneurship started pretty early for you when you were 14 years old, how you even got into it, and a little more of your backstory.
Yeah, 14 years old was really where I kind of hit the stride with entrepreneurship. I think when I was 12, people were excited about snow day, right? I came from Chicago, so born and raised, and snow day was everything, right? Because then we can not have to go to school, and a bunch of snow goes down, and people are excited, but for different reasons.
Yes.
I realized I was excited about the opportunity to make money, while everyone else
True
was excited about
yes.
the snowballs and all that. I was like, whoa, shoot, I can shovel some driveways and make some money.
Yep.
And I think that's where the opportunist and the value creation side of me really came out. At 14, I realized I was gaming a lot, and I realized that people really needed server space to game on the computer, and so I provided the server space. And eventually that grew into a company that was making $40,000 a year, and sold it at 18. Had horrible grades. I had a 2.8 GPA in high school, and no school wanted me. And I thought, I'm building a business. I'm providing real world value, and you're telling me you're rejecting me from University of Illinois Champaign and everywhere else? Like, how dare? I was like so
Yeah.
like distraught. I didn't know. I thought that was going to be something honorable.
Yeah.
And I think I realized real quick that the system rewards those who get good grades and do what they're told, pretty much. And so I did exactly that. I said, you know what? That's how you measure success.
That's what I'm
Right?
gonna do.
Clearly, that's what the society's telling me. And so I went and I got the good grades. I went to community college. I got a 4.0. I was involved in student government. I, started a business club. Did all the things that they told me to do, and there it happened. I got into top 10 business school. I got into University of Illinois. They rejected me first time, and now they wanted me.
So I'm back, motherfucker.
I'm back, motherfucker. And then after that, obviously, just got into entrepreneurial things there as well. Like, I always had that entrepreneurial bug and that pull into, something that's not as conventional. And I started Menu 3, which is an augmented reality menu company where we provided augmented reality models of food and put them on a table in front of you for like portion size. So we did like these innovative things. Didn't really work out. Did a couple other things, had a dating app. I did all the things you can think of, right? I failed and failed and failed. But eventually I decided, you know what? I'm going to go back and get a job. Got a job for Avance as a product manager in LA. So moved literally with a 3-day notice, moved to LA, completely uplifted my life with nobody, like I had no support here.
Wow.
And I said, this was 6 years ago. And, I'm just going to try this thing, and I'm going to work for this company. I'm going to learn about real estate, because Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Bigger Pockets and all these, great resources that we know of today. Did that. It was awesome. Got to see and experience and work under the CEO and the both co-founders and see how they run the ship, and saw all perspectives of scale from 200 units to 100 units, and they were a vacation rental management company. So for vacation rentals, what I'm doing now, and that's really where I learned the game. And I saw that their Palm Springs homes, they had leases on those Palm Springs homes. Those 3 weekends, Coachella 1, Coachella 2, and Stagecoach, paid off the rent for the whole year. And when I saw that, I realized this is the space I want to be in, not from only a wealth perspective, but I loved hospitality. And, eventually they let go of me during COVID, went through a really tough period during COVID where I still tried to get a job again, and like going back and forth because I couldn't sustain myself, I just didn't know what to do. And so, I tried I tried a bunch of things. It just didn't work out. Got fired from 3 jobs in 1 year. I was never a good employee, really. I didn't I wanted to know more. I want to know the why behind why I'm doing my role. I didn't want just a role where I just do my job and I shut up. And I think, quickly I started realizing, like, yes, I should probably, learn a little bit more about myself. Like, I'm a entrepreneur at heart. I'm a close to a maverick, right? Maverick persuader. And, for personality test people out there, Mavericks don't really do well in very structured organizations, unfortunately. And I needed to be, kind of leading a team or, leading a company of sorts. And that's what I did. I bought my first rental.
And so this was how many years ago when you bought your first?
I was 24.
Okay, 24 years
So
old.
I was 24 years old, and I said, I'm going to buy my first rental. And I just, there's more to it. Long story short, I, put every dollar I had into that rental.
Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains, Tennessee, 2,000 miles away. Told my mom, she's conservative. She's an immigrant from Poland, and
She's probably like, what are
she
you
freaked
doing?
out, dude. Like, she thought she was gonna faint, honestly. Yeah. And but I said, like, I have to take risks right now, and I have to take calculated risks and do this thing because I want a great, I want time freedom, and I want this great I want a great life for my future family and for myself, and I think that's very important to me to live a very fulfilling life. And I'm not looking to become a billionaire. That's not my goal. My goal is to live a very balanced life, but I do have high aspirations to doing big things for people and provide a lot of value for people. Yeah, eventually got my first rental, and
how did you finance that? You said you used most of your cash for the down payment?
so I put 10% down, vacation home loan, got a 3.5% interest rate.
3.5%.
Yeah, it was like COVID times, like 2021. And what's funny, when I got that rental, the lender only approved me for $280,000 or so, 260 or something like that. It was like 250,000 or something like that. And I was like, dude, I can't buy a house for 250,000 that cash flows. Like, this is crazy. And so I went problem solving method. I'm like, how do I get that up higher? And they said, well, if you live with like your parents or like you live with someone else and they're paying the rent. And so I looked at my girlfriend at the time. This is why having a strong woman by your side is very important.
Yes.
And I looked at her. I was like, hey, can you sign off on the idea? I'll pay you your rent under the table, but can you sign off on me living rent free with you?
I love that.
And she's like, it's kind of like the question, are you riding with me? Or
Yeah.
are you my ride or die, or are we going to cut this off? No, I'm just kidding. But, she really just stepped up to the plate. She's like, I got you. She believed in me. And she said, let's do this. And she was, at the time, I was 24 and she was 20.
Wow.
So she was young. And she said, you know what, like, I'm here to support you. And she knew the long-term vision and believed in me and let me crash at her place. And, I paid her on the table, but I couldn't have like a crazy, loan or anything.
So you improvised.
Or rent. So we improvised, and we got that up to 350.
Nice.
Then we bought
Is that what the purchase price? 350?
It was 306.
Okay, 306.
So we bought something for 306, and she flew out with me, and she helped set it up with me. And then the previous owner was doing $30,000 with my expertise. I ended up making $60,000 in that property that year.
Wow.
So I doubled the revenue, all just based on what I knew with pricing, with marketing. And those same concepts I use today on a house like this, for example.
Yeah.
They say the house sells itself, and I think you're partly the reason why you're here, as well as I think you're really good at the creative side and telling a story through the art of the media, and I think really showcasing this house in a different light will allow us to be able to sell it for 2.5 times what somebody else will, because I can't curate that content. That's not my expertise, but I can see the vision. I can be the producer, director, and see the footage and align it and create a story that I can show to the audience to help sell the listing. And that's what I do today. That's what I did back then. We took the same property. We didn't add anything to it. We just marketed the crap out of it and took better photos, better pricing, revenue management, and just completely doubled the revenue. And so that was kind of my big inspiration to continue doing this. And fast forward, after I launched this thing, I went to a party, and my girlfriend literally was like, hey, I met this guy, you should talk to him at this mutual friends party. It's like, hey, he's doing real estate. He's flipping houses. He's 29 years old at the time. And, he's flipped over, 80 houses or whatever. And he's been doing this since he was 19. He's in real estate. And he wants to get into Airbnb. And I talked to him, and he was like, I want to get into Airbnb. I'm like, well, I want to get into, I want to have access to capital to buy more short-term rentals. He's like, hey, you do the work, and I fund it. And I'm like, let's do it. Fast forward today, that's my business partner.
No way.
We just celebrated his wedding, and we talked about all the ups and downs of our business and what we've went through, and it's been quite a journey. But it all started with the mutual friend conversation. And,
amazing.
Going back then, like, we decided to buy properties, ugly homes, and renovate them and turn them into beautiful short-term rentals. So yes, I do not own this home that we're currently at, but I do have some really nice homes that are in our portfolio that I do own. And so I am building my own real estate portfolio on top of managing. So I have the active side of of business, but then I
Smart.
also have the passive.
So smart, and I think so many people in the real estate industry take that approach, whether they're a real estate agent, whether some sort of active income, flipping houses, and then they take that money and they build the passive income through building a portfolio, through reinvesting into real estate. So that's, again, I was telling you that that was the route I was going to take. I went to school. So a little bit on me, I went the corporate route as well, got an engineering degree, process engineering. Got my big boy corporate job, and everyone's like, you made it, you're successful. And I'm like, fuck this, I'm not happy at all. I quit my job after 5 months, and I became a real estate agent for a little bit. And then COVID happened and fucked everything up, because you couldn't cold call in this time. You couldn't solicit business. So I'm like, I'm kind of stuck right now. So I started this little side hustle doing 3D virtual tours for my real estate agent friends. That eventually turned into a real estate media company, and then I went all in on that. Fast forward 7 years, we have a team of, I think we got 12 or 13 people now, and just dominating every side of the real estate media stuff. We're getting more into video production as a whole now, serving local business owners and the whole nine. But I was telling you that my original plan was to take my income from my engineering job and build a rental portfolio. So I ended up buying a duplex. I lived in half of it. I did the house hack, and I lived for free. And I tell everyone that's still like the best way to get into real estate is to get a FHA, get a low down payment owner-occ loan. And even if it doesn't totally pay your mortgage, you at least cover a portion of it, right? So again, I was in the bigger pockets world. That's what got me into real estate, and I'm just fascinated by everything you're doing now, and it's super inspiring to see like the level that you guys are doing this at, because I'm just a fan of like great real estate and like these experiential properties. To your point, I think in order to be competitive in this landscape going forwards, you need to have an experience, because it's so saturated and everyone's like, I'm going to put my house up on Airbnb. And it's like, if you want to truly do well, you need to make it so that people are like, wow, like I want to go there. And you guys are doing that. So I just wanted to commend you on that. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
But anyways, going back to your story, so you and your business partner, is it just the two of you guys, or you have
just us two?
Just you two? Story. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can continue the story. At the time, we bought these properties, right? And I subscribed to the idea of, owning real estate is the ultimate way to create wealth.
Yep.
And it still is. I still believe by that full-heartedly. Depending on where you're at, I do believe it depends what you should be focusing on, in my opinion. And let me explain. So what I realized at this point was I had this property that was making me $60,000 a year top line. After expenses, it was making me between $20,000 to $25,000 a year, which equates to around $1,000, $1,500 a month. That was enough to convince me to quit my job.
I love it.
I'm an idiot.
No, that's great. I love that.
But I didn't care. I don't have anything to lose. And so I decided to go all in on, building these experiences with Josh. And, eventually I realized, I'm like, wait, hold on. I have this home, right? We built these 4 additional homes, so I had 5. And then and Joshua Tree. Then I realized I have all these 5 homes, but the cash flow's kind of been taken up. There's all this cash in these deals, and the cash flow is really not there as much as I'd like, right? It's not as fast enough as I thought it would be with investing. What I realized is this concept of slow, medium, and fast money.
Okay.
So there's three different levels. What do I mean by that? Slow money is kind of the traditional element of bigger pockets, right? It's, the whole idea of you buy this short-term rent, or you buy this long-term rental, you're going to retire because you have one long-term rental making you $200 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on.
And that's what everyone was set on. Like,
exactly.
That was Brandon Turner telling everyone. Like,
one rental at a time.
Yep.
It's the whole concept of that. And I get where he's coming from, and I understand the wealth creation. But I think where it gets more interesting for me is not building $200 per unit kind of thing and building one by one. What's more interesting to me is I needed a fast money outlet. So slow money is like, okay, you have this long-term rental. It's great, but also like really the tax benefits are the big thing, the appreciation long-term, but then I have to just wait. I'm sitting on this and I'm waiting, but I don't get to that freedom number for me. My freedom number is still not there because I just have this thing that's not really making me as much, but it's appreciating over time. But then I have to wait for 20, 30 years. So to really get the benefits of real estate, it's a fantastic option for people that are in their 60s with money.
Right.
But I needed to get money first.
Yeah.
You know, I was just leveraging and leveraging and leveraging.
Yeah.
So I realized there's the media money, and this is where Josh was playing in, right? Where he was flipping a house. He was putting up X amount of money, and then he was flipping a house, and he made his money back in 6 months to 12 months. So it was media money. But then agents. What are, and then I saw like agents. What are agents? Agents are fast money because it's a job. It takes up a lot of time. It's active very
income.
active.
Yep.
But it's fast money because you are speeding up the process. When you're young, you should be focusing on fast money, and that's I think the thing that people get wrong. People try to focus on slow money. Hey, dude, let me passively invest in like these 5 businesses. Let me throw my money in a Roth IRA. I think Roth IRAs are great. But guess what? Like the money was just sitting there making 7% a year and on average, but like it wasn't making me wealthy. What I needed to make first is money, and then I can create everything else. And the moment that clicked for me, I realized I took that property, right? That property, I bought it for 306. A year and a half later, I got really lucky. It appraised at, it grew valuation to 465.
Wow.
So I was sitting on a property with $170,000 in equity, especially with the numbers I was doing.
Yep.
$175,000 in equity, and it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And it was making $20,000 a year. What kind of return is that? Not the best. It's called the ROE, my return on equity.
Yes.
So it wasn't really that good. So now I took that same money, I sold that property, take that same money, and I bought a property management company with Josh.
I see.
Then with the equivalent of that, the management company, the first one we bought, it came to us, right? Like I was looking for management leads. I was like, look, I'm pretty good at managing. Let me manage it for other people. And my friend came back to me and said, hey, listen, I have, when you have, it was lucky, but it's also like I was open to the opportunity. I was prepared. And then the opportunity struck. And that's what happened. It was just and then it was just good timing. And I was like, I'll buy your management company, because this guy was looking to sell it because he had a kid and he was like, I have 15 units, small little baby, on the way, and I have this hotel, and so like I don't want to do this management stuff. I'm like, I'll buy it. And so we structured a deal that ended up coming out to around $160,000.
Wow.
So we had a whole like X amount of money down and then percentage on the back end. So I realized, I'm like, but then and during high season, it was like each contract was making me $1,000. There was 15 of them. I was like, dude, we just made $10,000 to $15,000 this month. With expenses around 10 something.
Because to your point, you're owning a business now.
I own a business
now.
I'm a business owner.
Yep.
And I realized, I'm like, wait a moment. Okay, now I can hire people so I don't have to work 80 hours a week.
There it is.
And so now you're building a business, and that was the inception. That was March of 2023. Today is, we're almost in March of 2026, 3 years later. And 3 years later, what I can say is we've grown to 130 units, and we have 20 units ready to be onboarded. So we have really 150 units total. And we're gunning for 200. I have a CEO. We have 30 employees. I mean, we run a whole operation out here.
Love it.
And, and I get to do every day, I get to let go of things that I'm really okay at or maybe good at, but not the best. And I let my team do the things that they're good at. And then like guest relations, we have 2 people out here that do guest relations. We have somebody that does like managing the office and the supplies and everything else. What I'm really good at is marketing.
I love it.
Where
Me
I
too,
want to
man.
focus my time on, and the more I can focus on marketing, the better for my clients, because now I get to sit here with you, we're gonna plan out how we're gonna position this shoot, and you're gonna tell me because you're the expert on this on the shoot. But I'm gonna give you my input on what I'm kind
Your
of looking
vision.
for,
Yeah.
the vision, and you guys are gonna collaborate with me, and you guys are gonna make it happen. But me being here, I would have to be having. If I had to talk to guests, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have enough time.
You'd be in the weeds.
I'd be in the weeds. And so this is a benefit for the owners as well, because we can, very safely say that we can help them launch their property and focus on that thing and focus on what I'm good at. And I think that's going to make our owner more money too.
Oh, it's a massive marketing
it's a
edge.
win-win-win,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So.
It's really funny. Speaking of your team, I'm pretty sure my team reached out to like a bunch of people. They weren't getting answers, and then they found you on LinkedIn. They're like, Cam, can you shoot Patryk a message? And then you responded, and boom, just like that, we were in touch. But I thought it was funny. But yeah, man, the mentality of going from becoming a true owner, because this is something that I am getting to that point. I do want to get to that point where I'm almost completely phased out of it, and that's where the true power comes, when you have a cash flowing business where you are the actual owner and not the operator of it. And that way I can focus more on this brand, building the podcast, and
That's where your time should be spent.
Yeah,
because that's really where you get, people interested in what you do.
Right.
And, I think there's a one-to-many relationship that happens when you speak on a podcast, because you speak we're going to record this one time, and we're going to get, even 1,000 views. I mean, that's a lot of people that are getting to see the conversation that we're having today.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like, you guys get to see virtually what we're having and what we're discussing in real time. And
it's crazy.
You guys don't even have to be here.
Yeah.
You can do it from your pajamas at home. And you can learn to be influenced, to be a better real estate investor, to be better at health, to be better at wealth. And that's, I think that's like super empowering. And the fact that anybody's even, watching this and like doing that is like huge. That means you guys are taking such a big step in your journey to like really make change in your life. And I got to commemorate all the people that are listening right now.
I couldn't agree
Seriously.
more. Yep. If you're tuned in right now, you are a real one, and you will get there. You just got to stick to it.
If you're listening to this and you hear this message, can I get a commitment from you, Cameron?
Let's do it.
Okay. If they reach out to you on Instagram with code Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree.
Okay.
That means they listened to this and they got this far and they were actually intentionally listening.
Okay.
Will you respond?
I respond to everything.
You respond to everything.
Yeah.
Reach out, say Joshua Tree, show that you're out there. I'd love to hear your guys' story and see where you guys are at, because I'm sure, like, just like our stories, like, we all have things that we are aspired about. And I feel like I learn from other people that are also on the journey.
Love that,
and
man.
just as much as I learn now, I don't have everything figured out. And,
No.
I make mistakes every day, and I want to hear from you guys as well. So if you want to reach out to me too, just say Joshua Tree in the DMs, and I'd love to chat.
Hell yeah, man. I love that. Yeah, and everyone's pursuing their own journey, right? We're all on our own paths, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the core fundamentals of business are the same. And I think no matter what guest I have sitting across from me, no matter what business they're running, if they're in real estate, if they're doing something else, it all comes down to the same principles of building wealth and achieving financial freedom. It's all the same formula, no matter what you're doing. So speaking of the people, what would you say, it's 2026 now, we're a little into the year now, if someone wants to do what you're doing, Patryk, whether it is on the vacation and short-term rental side, whether it's something, actually let's say they want to do what you're doing right now, what are the first steps that they should take to break into this kind of thing?
Yeah, I think, look, there's so many ways to create wealth. I think what's most important, I'm just going to go through the basic principles. And I want to say this. Number one, there's no need to overcomplicate things. I think the big thing, and this is, there's a story that, and I was talking to my buddy. My buddy sat right next to Grant Cardone and Russell Brunson having a conversation. And Russell's like, Grant, why do most people not convert? Like, what's going on? Like, this is so weird. Why people just don't like pursue their dreams? Like, everyone should be doing this. And Grant looks at him and says, it's because 90% of people don't believe in themselves enough to do something about it. And that hit home, right? Because, you know, we are so capable. And, you know, I think the one thing that stops us more than anything is the belief in ourselves to make it happen. It's all mindset. And I think once you recognize that and you bring attention to that, then you can start really working on unraveling it. Because if I asked you why you're not taking action and why this is not happening, there's going to be excuses every time. And, you know, some could be pretty valid. I get that. But at the end of the day, the mind is very powerful. And if you really want something, you can put it into existence. You know, for the long time, I wanted a Tesla, right? I have a Tesla right now.
Yep.
It's not that, look, I'm not a big spender. I don't, you know, I had a, you know, Honda Civic for a long time, and I really wanted a Tesla because I love the tech of the car. And,
Yeah.
you know, I remember going to the Tesla, you know, showrooms. Like every time we went to the mall, we had this mall near us in LA called Galleria, and we would test drive the car. And I was just like in the car. I even rented it out just to have it for a full day, just to pretend like I owned it. And I just like visioned myself that I was gonna have this car.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because here I am driving.
You rolled up in the Tesla. I'm like,
rolled up in
hell
the
yeah,
Tesla.
Patryk, let's go.
And same goes with, you know, these moments where, you know, I'm on the beach and in Miami and I'm, you know, 18 years old and I'm looking at myself, I'm like, I'm going to own epic homes. I'm going to be at these insane properties and I'm going to just, and here we are sitting at, you know, one of the premier properties that we have in our portfolio, absolute stunning property. And I have the pleasure and, you know, the trust from the owner to fully market this and make this a big winner. So, you know, I'm super blessed, of course. But anyways, mindset's huge. So that's one thing. Second thing is action over everything.
Yes.
Small, consistent actions every
Imperfect
day.
action too.
Absolutely, imperfect action. And there's another story that I have for this. You know, one of the core stories that come to mind for me is the study of they put a bunch of what was it, like 5-year-olds? They put a bunch of 5-year-olds. It was like 5 or 10-year-olds. I forgot what it was, but it was like 5 or 10-year-olds. These young kids that like with this like team as a team, and then they put these business executives as a team to create the biggest mushroom tower. So they had like these mushrooms and they had these like little like pasta sticks, and you're trying to build the biggest tower.
Okay.
And whoever has the biggest tower wins. Can you guess who won?
Probably the little kids.
The little kids. Do you know why?
Because they can work together better.
Because the little kids, by the time that the executives strategized for 18 minutes,
they were just doing it.
They spent 20 minutes total. 18 minutes of it was planning, and two minutes was actually deploying. But by that time, the kids have failed 7 times over and found the right strategy and built something way bigger, like by a mile. It's not even like close to. It's like miles bigger.
So much wisdom in that.
And it's like what's the wisdom in that, right? Is the key thing there is that people, you know, you have to just run into it, right? And I think my first management company I bought, I made all the mistakes. I didn't do any due diligence. Yes, I bought it. I'm happy I bought it, and we did good, but it was a falling knife. Owners were leaving. We had a felon working for us. We had 2 managers. One was pregnant and decided to leave. The second was stealing clients and left. You know, it was just a complete nightmare of an operation. And we just we worked through it. And guess what? That first deal, yes, the first year we all the money, we recouped our investment in the first year. But we scaled so much and we spent so much time and so much energy. But we really didn't make anything that year when we just recouped. And the next year, we were ready. In the meantime, we bought 2 other management companies. And the third one closed at the end of the year mark. It was February 29th of 2024. And literally a day before March, like 1 year. That company was a big hit. The reason they wanted to work with us is because we've done a deal before. We've proved that we've done it successfully, and the company that we bought is the Co's company.
Wow. The
company that we're currently sitting in here. And I have a funny story. I think you'll appreciate this. There's owners where I didn't have the brand, right? I had the Stage You Like brand. That was the first company I bought. and it was just like average properties. And all of a sudden, this owner reached out to us, and I rolled up to the owner. Like, it was within the first week of buying the company, right? The stage you like, the first company. I bought the first company, right? And I went to this guy's house in my Toyota, or what did I have? I had a Honda. I had a Honda Civic. I went with the Honda Civic. I loved that Honda Civic. It was freaking. I named her Betsy. She was great. She was tough. And dirt roads. Went down these dirt roads. Got to this awesome property, and it's got these beautiful views. And I was like, this would be our portfolio piece. And the guy, we do this whole meeting. I go fully prepared. I have a whole presentation ready. I'm like, this is what we're gonna do for you. You're gonna be our premier piece. Like, I will do anything that it takes. And the one thing he said, he's like, well, look, I go on your website, and what you have on your website, stays you like, is homes that I wouldn't stay in. And I go on the co-host company website, which, by the way, I didn't own at the time. The co-host company's website, and they have all fantastic homes. We want to work with the co-host company because of their portfolio. And so I took that to heart, and I'm like, all right. So a year later, when I bought the co-host company, that was the first call I made. I was like, all right, well,
hey, it's me again.
Hey, it's me again. You said you would, they didn't end up going with the co-host company because the co-host company didn't want to work with them. So they ended up going with another manager. So the first call I made was to that guy, and I said, I see you're with another manager than co-host. You guys wanted to become, you said you wouldn't work with us because we weren't the co-host company.
Yeah.
Well, we're the co-host company now, motherfucker. So let's fucking roll, baby.
I love that.
And he died laughing. I said, you said that you wouldn't work with us unless we were the co-host company. So we bought the fucking co-host company, man.
You know
like,
what?
We're ready to work with
Patrick,
you.
there is
and
so much
he
wisdom
loved that
in
stuff.
that. Like, and that's the game right there. Everyone's trying to figure out how to win business and how to win people over. It's being real like that, and like showing that you'll do what it takes. And I think especially wealthier people too, when they see a younger guy just trying to get after it, they see a part of themselves in you. And when you take that massive action, they're like, yeah, of course I'm going to take a chance.
Absolutely.
This guy just went to the end of earth to get my attention.
Real quick, guys, if you're enjoying this content and getting value from it, it would mean so much to me if you supported the platform by picking up a Real Power hat. 100% of the profits from the hats go towards my family's foundation, the Tyler Putnam Foundation. My wife lost her brother Tyler at a very young age to bacterial meningitis, and that causes a huge driving force behind everything I'm doing on this platform. So if you want to get yourself a hat, just go to realpowerproject.com and click on the shop page. And if you're feeling extra crazy, you can pick up yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt, and 100% of those profits are reinvested right back into the show to bring even more value to you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the platform.
In terms of like going back to like if someone is trying to do what you're doing, what is your client acquisition? What are you guys doing? Are you just cold calling owners? Like, what's your main way of building your portfolio?
Yeah. So the way we build our portfolio now, well, let me ask you this: How did you find out about us?
My brother and my team said they wanted to shoot your property because they're trying to build a brand, and they said we can make a sick video. They reached out to your team, didn't get an answer, found you, Patryk, on LinkedIn. They said, Cam, you have a LinkedIn presence. Can you reach out to Patryk? And I did, and that's how we're connected.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you went above and beyond to do that, right?
Right. They did. They went above and
Okay.
beyond because they could have stopped and be like, oh, we can't
Yeah.
get in touch with Patryk's team.
Yeah.
They said, call in the big guns. Cam, go message Pat. But
There you go.
and we did, and it all worked out. But
Perfect.
to your point, it's going above and beyond.
Yeah. But what was the key determining factor? I mean, it was the idea that we had a property that was a great portfolio piece.
Yeah.
Truthfully, we had a great property that was a great portfolio piece. We have, and to get that property, we also had to go above and beyond for those owners.
Right.
And to get to the properties where we're at right now, we had to go above and beyond for multiple other owners. So really what's going on is I think a big part of what we've built is the brand. And I think that's, you saw our Instagram.
Yep.
If we had average looking homes, like, you guys wouldn't want to work with us probably.
Right.
And or if we didn't do a good job at marketing, we didn't, care about the stuff that you guys care about, there would not be any alignment there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, owners look at their properties and know they want somebody to market their property beyond what normal managers do. So your portfolio is everything, your brand is everything, your word is everything, your culture is everything. So the people that are behind the team, that make the execution happen, that keep the owners happy, that get the referrals going, me going above and beyond with Josh and providing extreme amounts of value to realtors and educating people and not expecting anything in return when we educate people, law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
We can help anybody that wants to work with us or doesn't even want to work with us but wants our opinion on buying a property. I'll give you my opinion even if I don't end up going with you. So here's a story. We had this couple that I take every call, by the way. So this couple reached out. They had this home, not good enough for our portfolio, unfortunately. However, great bones, could be a good portfolio piece for somebody. But I wanted to help them because they were struggling with revenue. So I called them and I said, and I said, what's your story? Kind of went into it and I was like, kind of close to the beginning, I was like, all right, well, I have to let you guys know something. This home's really not fit for our portfolio. However, I really wanted to just chat with you guys and give you guys guidance because, for me right now, some things I haven't really talked about. I've put on 3 conferences in this space. I've put on many retreats. Even I just had one recently before this. And I've traveled and spoken. I actually got invited. I'm going to London to speak in front of 2,500 short-term rental investors.
Wow.
And I just got invited today, funny enough, to New Zealand and Australia to speak internationally. That was always my goal this year, to go international. But I've spoken on some of the biggest stages in our space. Why am I saying that? And I've written a book, I have a podcast, whatever. But why? I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because I know what I'm talking about. I go to these industry events. I talk to some of the biggest players in this game. I just talked to somebody with, that came to our event with 11,000 units. Like, there's people that are big time in this game and they teach me what I don't know. And, I'm not looking to get 11,000 units at Fly.
That's a lot of units.
But he played a different game. I'm luxury, less units, more luxury, more high end, whatever. But the point is, you learn from people. And you develop this skill set. So I provided all this knowledge that I had in this 20, 30-minute call. To them, it meant everything. That completely changed. They bought this investment with all their money, and that expertise, I know, could change their life. I know they were hesitant about self-managing, and I taught them about, you can self-manage this property. I'm trying to sell. I'm a management company. I could sell them on management, but I'm like, guys, you guys can self-manage this thing. I'm telling you, your margins are low. It doesn't make sense to go with a manager. They're gonna cut you, and there's good managers, but there's also not the best managers. So I kind of laid it out for them. Long story short, fast forward, they end up referring somebody to me that we end up taking under management. And it's a fantastic property, and it's perfect for our profile. And they're like, yeah, they raved about us. They said, yeah, they've helped me completely self-manage this property and gave me a cleaner even, and you guys, but they're busy. They're like doctors, these other or whatever, and so they ended up working with us.
And you know why? Because you were real as fuck. That's why. You were authentic and you built the trust.
I just gave value, man, and I just said, you know what? If it doesn't come back to me, I help the family out.
It always does come back to you, though.
But it somehow always does.
It always does.
So weird.
Yep.
And
That's how the universe works.
Yep. I just, look, people think about the dollar today or dollar tomorrow. I think, maybe $1 will come back or $10 will come back in the next year, and or not. And if not, then I did a good thing and whatever. It's that's human nature, right?
Yep.
But it always comes back. Funny enough, it's the thing. But anyways, I say that to say that the brand that we've built, the reputation we've built, the understanding of what we bring to the table and how we can help other people has transferred into a lot of inbound leads. So we get a lot of inbound. Now to say this, not to say that we don't do outbound response, for sure.
Yes.
So there's a second piece. We do outbound for sure, but outbound also comes with reputation too, right? When people hear about us, so when they reach out, they already know about us.
Makes selling easier.
Makes selling a lot easier versus a cold email that like they don't know who you are or what is going on. So I honestly, all I do is just like I text. I go on Airbnb or any of these platforms. I see the homes that are struggling because I know the homes that are struggling. I see either underpriced, even if it's a nice home and it has great reviews, I'm like, it's underpriced. I see homes that are not booking at all and have horrible reviews. I see all these opportunities and I reach out to those homes and I say, in a text, it's literally a text message, and I say, hi, I'm Patryk with the co-host company, and this is how this is what I've noticed about your listing, and I know I can make you more money on your listing, and this is how I would do it. If you're interested, feel free to reach out. If not, no worries, no hard feelings, right? And it's such an effective text because we get a lot of responses to that. And people are very excited about the idea of potentially working with a company that, that understands their pain points, and without them telling me, I just know, right? And I think this is the kind of question is like, people, it's like selling becomes a lot easier when you know that you have the Tylenol and you know that person's suffering. I think people are like, well, I don't want to sell. I don't want to reach out. I don't want to like disturb people. And I tell people this, I'm like, well, I think if you walked by a homeless man that said that was passing out, and you heard them say water, water.
Yeah.
And then you knew that he hasn't eaten anything. Would you help try to sell him on the idea of also eating some food? I mean, he's okay. That's a bad example. I think about. Sorry, let me go back. There's a better example than that. I think
I understood what
it's
you
like
were
a
saying
kid.
there.
It's like a kid. Like a kid doesn't know what a kid is good for a kid.
Yeah.
But you know what's good for a kid. So it's like, why do you try to sell and push your kid towards a certain agenda? You're like, go to school. If you told the kid, if you're trying to sell the kid on school, they'd be like, well, fuck you. I don't want to go to school. But the thing is, you know that you have to convince that kid to go to school because you know it's good for them, right?
Right.
So that's the same thing. When we reach out to people, we know that they're undermanaged and they can do 50% more revenue, and they're just sitting there with this home and it's empty, and
You're like, I can help you.
I'm so passionate about the idea with it. I will follow up relentlessly. I don't care, because I will take a video of myself saying, guys, this is what we're gonna do. I'll record a video, whatever it is, Zoom or whatever, a Loom video, and then and I'll tell it straight. So I think people are afraid of doing that.
They are. I think the fear is definitely a big part, but I also think your product and your service has to be world class first in order for you to have the conviction that you have when you're reaching out to these people.
But do you know where confidence stems from?
Where confidence stems from?
Yeah.
I would say being extremely good at what you do.
Okay, but where does getting extremely good at what you do come from?
Work ethic.
Right, repetition. Doing the thing.
Yeah.
And doing it, and it working time and time
over
and time
over
again.
And over again. Yep.
So how do you get things to actually work before you have that conviction that you can sell something because you're so passionate about the thing that you do?
You need to be like the kids trying to build the
kids.
You
gotta just try it, right? You gotta try to fail.
and fail.
Do you think your first videos that you put out were just world class?
Trash, man. Yeah. No. We look back, it's crazy.
Let's look back, yeah, but guess
reps.
what? You did the reps, and now you're so confident that you reached out to us, and you're like, dude, you multiple times said, trust me, guys. Like, I know this is going to turn out perfect for you.
Yep.
And you did it with conviction, and it's because you believe in it, truthfully.
But the fear part is people in the beginning not even wanting to put in those reps. And if you come at it with the mindset that it's okay that I'm going to fail, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to try again, and if you do that over an extended period of time, you're gonna beat all of your competition, because everyone stops when it gets hard, and the ones who win push further. And then then everyone's like, oh, it's, you built such a good brand, everything's comes so easy, you got all this opportunity coming to you. Well, I did the fucking work for years, when you're getting punched in the face over and
Right.
over again.
Absolutely. People see the overnight success. They don't see the you know. And so, but let me ask you this though. I think, why do you think that people look down on people that are successful?
Because I think there's envy there.
Okay, I agree. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think, if they're doing it and I'm not, there has to be a reason for it, right?
Yeah.
So what's better, accepting the reality that you're not, as you haven't put in the work and the hours to do the thing that you didn't meet the full capabilities of what you are capable of achieving,
Your
because
potential.
your potential, because
Yeah.
you didn't put the work in.
Yep.
Or what's a better
It's
story to tell yourself?
It's easier to say that they have something that
They have, their parents are
Yep.
rich.
Yep.
They got overnight. They just got the right clients.
It's
They're
fucking
right place,
excuse.
right time.
It's excuse.
It's
Man.
luck.
Yep.
It's Oh, and guess what? If you fail, guess what happens? It reaffirms all of their beliefs.
Right.
I told you, they got
Right.
lucky. It's
Right.
a one-hit wonder. It's a one-hit wonder. They were going to do it again.
So true.
And so that's why people put other people down, because they can't face the fact and the reality that they never did enough to make them feel good about what they've accomplished in life.
You're preaching, man. And this also goes to the fact of when people spew hate, it's a reflection of what's inside of them. I used to get very hurt when people said things, and now I've completely reversed it. I don't feel a thing. Like, it goes right through me because I understand. I know myself well enough, and I know what they're feeling inside to project that venom, that it's like they must be hurting so bad inside and wanting more in their life, and they just can't fucking seem to get away to get it done, and they see all these other people succeeding, and I feel for those people because they're stuck, and it's sad. I think if you can get to that place where you understand where it's coming from, the hate, like, you just brush it off.
Absolutely. And I think when people are not cheering for you, well, I think people will cheer for you in the beginning because
Yeah.
you haven't achieved anything.
Yeah,
But then the moment you start getting success, that's when they'll start hating on you,
I've noticed that a lot.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then you've achieved the thing that they were afraid of you achieving.
Yeah.
But the people that cheer for you when you're in the hole,
Yeah.
when things are tough,
Yeah.
those are the people. Those are real ones.
Those are the real ones. And
Yeah.
there's not many of them, and you got
And that's why you gotta be around those people, because the problem is the people you surround yourself make who you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will surround themselves with their family, and family's great, but family
That's a whole discussion there, man.
family's great, but family is good in doses as well, because
Yeah.
their sets and beliefs got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
But sometimes family doesn't get you to the next place that you need to go. And I think the best parents, and I will say this is great for my parents. I love my parents. My parents were immigrants. My parents were not entrepreneurs. They were entrepreneurs. They taught me hard work ethic. What my parents didn't do is, my parents were savers. They were investors. They never invested crazy amounts of money. They never took risks. They never hired big amounts of employees. I think my dad did a little bit with his construction business, but it didn't work out. He's a solopreneur. He
Yep.
just did construction. He doesn't speak that much English. So and my mom cleans houses. So when they knew how to work hard, and they hard work ethic, and they transferred that to me, and I'm happy they transferred that hard work ethic to me. But to get me to the next level, I needed to be by myself, which is why I went to LA. A big part of it too. I needed to go somewhere. And what I love about my parents is they believed in the idea of me developing myself and becoming who I need to be. And leaving, they didn't hold me back. And I think that's something I can appreciate, even though I know that, I need to be around people that are growing businesses. The rich dad, poor dad. I had a rich dad kind of thing, where it's like my growing up, I had a friend that had, a dad that was very wealthy, and he was in real estate. And it was in Chicago. And, I was 19 years old, where, I went on his, he invited us to Miami, because it's his son, right? 120-foot yacht. and it was the most luxury thing I've ever seen. There was like butlers and alcohol and all this stuff. And I started asking them, I was like, how'd you guys do this? Like, how did you get to this point? What are you guys doing? All investors, all real estate people. And I've learned so much from being around that kind of people and like the mindsets that they have, and being around him too, because he's an entrepreneur himself as well. And learning from them and like how to grow and the mindsets like that his dad taught him, that he went through. And then eventually now, it gets harder because there's less and less of those people.
Yeah.
And what's funny about those people is they don't have all the time in the world to spend with you. So you have to accept the idea that the people that you hang out with are the people that are the 5 people you hang out with have the biggest depiction of where you're going to be.
Yeah.
But the problem is those 5 people are also fucking working on their shit and don't have time to hang out with you. So it's like the limited time you have. So it's like eat shit for like all day, every day, and then work with those people that are on the same level or more, and then bring employees and people that work with you that have the same vision, same culture, and work with those people to not only build them up, but also, grow. I always say there's a rule of thirds. Third of the people that you hang out with should be your peers, should be on the same level as you. You guys are both growing your businesses, maybe different industries, doesn't matter. You guys have the same problem sets, like you're going through the same things. Then you have people that are under you, right? So employees, mentoring other people, because then what that does is that refines your, not only are you giving back, but it refines your concepts, your basic concepts.
Teaching
right?
helps you
The
become.
teaching.
Yeah.
So people that are listening, maybe somebody's like, well, I only have one vacation rental or something, and this guy's a complete expert. Dude, I had people with one rental at this retreat that were teaching me about my portfolio. I'm like, wait a minute, you did what? You sent, or this one guy, he had like 10 rentals, and he was like, yeah, what I'm doing is he's telling me like, I'm sending Venmo, 2-cent Venmos, and saying, just my 2 cents, I think you could use a better manager. And it's so funny. I'm
Yo,
like,
that's
dude,
amazing.
that's so awesome, dude. And like, I didn't even think of that. It was just such a great idea. So I think we can all learn something from each other. And there's some people that are like crafty and creative, but then also refining my thing, right? When I teach something, then I refine the idea. I'm teaching AKA saying things that I've set reminders for myself to like, okay, that's a core principle that I should remind myself of and continue practicing and preaching. But coming back to fundamentals. And then obviously going to scale and growth, you should be with 1/3 of people that are 10x of where you are. So, people add 1 0 to your net worth. That's the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with, because they are going to be able to take you to that next level because they've already done it.
That's interesting. I've heard, obviously you want to be in that energy of like the people who are way up there, but I've also heard that people who are a couple steps ahead of you are the ones that, because then it's more attainable, whereas if you're trying to like play with the big dogs, I feel like it's more inspirational, but there's like levels you have to go through in order to get to that place.
Absolutely. I think peers and, this is a mix. Peers and mentors, they don't have to be all 10x, but there should be some that are. But I think peers are kind of where it's like this guy might be like 2 steps ahead.
Got it.
But he's a peer, and so he's like kind of like the guy that's like 10x ahead. It's harder to get his time versus somebody that's on the same level as you. You guys can both give each other a lot of value.
Yeah.
And maybe they are 2 steps ahead, but that's perfect, right? It's like kind of like, okay, well, you have a media company, but maybe there's somebody else that has a media company, but they have, 12 employees.
Oh yeah, I'm in a mastermind of people all over, and I've got coaches, and but yeah, I think I like to surround myself with the big dogs too, because I think it pushes me farther, it pushes me faster, and I'm curious, do you have some of those really big dogs come to your masterminds?
Yeah,
or is it
absolutely. We had a guy there with 11,000 units. Wow. And for reference, I have 130, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
We had another guy. He's more of a peer. His unit count's more. You can't always go off of units, right?
Sure.
But he's got 350 units, but he's a peer.
Yeah.
Great. He's probably ahead of me in a lot of ways too. Like I've learned a lot from him, honestly. He's taught me a lot. And I think we struggle with the same problems too, like employees and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everywhere somebody's, and you know, somebody might be steps ahead of me in content creation,
Different
you
area,
know, different areas,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
you know, maybe I'm not the best at that, but they can teach me something about
yeah,
that I couldn't learn myself otherwise,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
I've had to let go of the ego of learning from people younger than me too.
oh, I
I don't know
know,
if you struggle
same.
with that before, but I've um I've totally let that go because number one, the fucking next generation with AI and stuff, the things I'm learning from my team actually, the
Yeah,
things they're
it's
doing with
crazy.
AI is crazy.
There's certain fields that younger people just do way better.
Mm.
And I think one of those fields is like when you pulled up with the whole crew, they're all like
They just
24, 22,
they
20. I'm
just
like,
dialed it in. They're
they
like,
dialed this whole thing and like, but because they're, they are, I don't know what it is, but it's like anybody that does video, the younger generation just gets the fast paced,
yeah.
you know, video editing.
I think they've just grown up with
They've
it
grown
more.
up with it
Yeah.
more. Like we were like a generation where we still went outside. You're still 29, so I can still talk like this. But
Yeah. For one
you're
more
turning
day.
one more day.
Till
Tomorrow you'll be 30.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm 29, so like we were the last generation to go outside. Like we played outside, but
Yeah.
you know, we also had the computer, so I think it was like a cool mix.
Usually the flow that I do is the tactical stuff, which we've really done a lot of. Then I get more into the mindset, which we've also talked a lot about the
Yeah.
mindset already. I want to talk about more about your future and where you're going and what you want out of life. Because I feel a lot of energy between us. I'm, again, constantly trying to surround myself with people because I'm from a small city and like a lot of the people that I'm connected with entrepreneurship wise are not where I live. So like it's cool to make these connections. So I want to know like what are your in Josh, is that your business partner?
Mhm.
What's the goals for this company, man? Like, how big do you guys want to? I know you said you don't want to become like a billionaire or anything, but like, I can tell you're ambitious. You want to do big things.
Yeah.
So like, next 3 to 5 years, where do you see you guys
Yeah.
going?
I think, you know, I love this space. I'm big into hospitality. I definitely like the idea of building like experiential stays. Like that's been really exciting to me. So on the personal front, of course, like I'd love to do a boutique hotel
Mm,
and or a commercial asset of sorts, and you know, invest my money there. You know, I think with great partners, I think, you know, I've been in this space for quite a bit. I think I can add a lot of value. I think, you know, I can get into a really good deal that is a win-win situation. On the other front, you know, management company, I think honestly, um, I'm living the dream.
me too, man.
I do, like, I'm just happy every day with what I have. Like the ability that it's, what is it, a Wednesday? Wednesday.
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
And it's 7 p.m.
We're chilling out in the
and
middle of a
we're
desert.
literally at a house in the middle of the desert and we're talking life
Business and
and
life. Man.
business, and there's something special about that.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, really thinking about, you know, what if I had all the money in the world? I'd still be doing this.
Doing this exactly.
I'd be doing
Yeah.
conferences, I'd be doing events, maybe bigger events, but like really not much. I mean, I like the intimate events. I like the big events. I like the intimate events. I would have done the same thing. And, you know, probably just had more support to do that thing, but I would be doing the same thing. And I would be managing other people's properties and just, or helping people, you know, completely, you know, dial in their short-term rental investments.
Yeah.
I really love that thing. And, you know, maybe one day I'm not doing that anymore with short-term rentals. I don't know. You know, I don't foresee that, but you know, whatever it is, like I think my big goal in life is just, big goal in life or big goal in 5 years is just be in a position to have one of the most premier hospitality brands in the country.
Yeah.
To be able to speak very intelligently in this about this space and to keep trailblazing all aspects of the space. And you know, for example, we had our first piece of content, and granted, I partnered with a social media company, so I didn't create this content, but I'm partnering with some of the smartest people. And shout out to Dustin Baker. He created a AI, fully 100% AI reel.
Wow.
Like he took pictures and he put people into the pools and stuff like with
Yeah.
AI.
Yep. We're actually getting into that stuff now. Yep.
Huge.
Yep.
And that went viral. The first AI video that went viral, it's at like 170,000 views, organic. And
It's wild.
realized, wow, this world is completely changing. I want to be on the front end of that.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about the idea to continue building that. But, you know, I enjoy speaking on stage. I enjoy podcasts. I hope I can continue doing this kind of stuff and continue giving back to people and helping, you know, eventually, I hope I can have like you know, and I'm not quite there yet, but I hope I can get to a quantifiable time period where I can say, hey, I made 100 people a millionaire.
Millionaires. Yeah.
That kind of stuff would be really cool.
Yep.
You know, I think that would give me a lot more. And I've done that, but I would love to get that number bigger. Then add another zero and add another zero, and just continue going and
It's
like
just the game, man. It's
seeing
the
the
fun
impact.
of the
You
game.
know.
Yep. I love it, man. Well, Patrick, this has been an honor, brother, and I think this is the start of a very prosperous relationship between both of us. I know I've got very big plans and hopes and dreams, and so does my team with the brands that we're building. Real 3D, our media company, Real Power, the podcast, and then Real Creators is their YouTube channel that they're building. So we're building the real universe, and our eventual goal and vision, and we just presented it at our last team meeting. We're building a compound in upstate New York. It's this giant creative compound where we have our office, our studio space. We have a full commercial gym. We have a basketball court.
That's
We have
awesome.
the whole nine. We're gonna build it in our city, and it takes being around this type of energy that keeps me going and it gets me excited.
That's
so
awesome, man.
I just want to thank you for bringing that, and I want to leave it with one last question here. You're 29, end of our 20s here. If you had to give these young bucks, Keegan right here is 20, what are you, 24? Josh is 20, Carter's 24. One piece of wisdom, if you could go back in time to your early 20s, what would you tell these young men?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Let's go.
What I would do is I'd focus all my energy on finding the thing that I love, which you've done, finding a way to monetize it, which you're doing, and every single day become 1% better, and just continuously do that over an extended period of time. And don't worry about times that things are gonna go downhill. Things are gonna be awesome. There's gonna be highs and lows. But I think I'll leave you with this phrase: the hero is only as epic as the beast that they slay.
Fuck yeah, brother.
So if you got no beast to slay, you got no fucking hero. So what beast are you slaying today? What challenges are you running in today? What failures have you gone through to make the man that you are in the future? So.
Patrick, brother, thank you, man. This was fucking awesome,
bro.
dude.
Hell yeah, dog.
Before we wrap up, where can people connect with you? Give a quick plug to all your socials and everything.
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's my favorite place. It's Patryk, Patryk, spelled funny, _SWI. I'm sure it's going to be in the description below.
Yes, it will.
Follow me, send me a DM, let me know Joshua Tree, and I got you. I'm happy to hear your guys' story, and yeah, keep rocking on.
Love it, man. Guys, we will see you in the next episode, and peace out from Joshua Tree, California. Peace.
Guys, thank you again so much for watching. One more time, if you enjoyed this episode, the Real Power hat is available for purchase at realpowerproject.com. 100% of the profits go towards a great cause. So go get yourself a hat and join me in this mission, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace.